in Syria. Ribal Al Assad, cousin of President Assad, who runs the Organisation for Democracy and Freedom in Syria, is in our central London studio. Very good evening to you. I was speaking to an opposition activist in Damascus just briefly before the line cut out a half an hour or so ago. He said that this definition of a state of civil war, which the Red Cross has said the country is in now, is incorrect. What's your view on it?
Yes, good evening, Samantha. Actually, I don't agree with that statement. I think the country is not yet in a state of civil war. It's certainly on the way. But in a full state of civil war, I think we won't be seeing 50, 100 deaths per day, but it will be a couple of hundreds. And this is where we don't want to find ourselves into.
Is there a danger that this could make the situation worse by the Red Cross saying this?
I mean, of course, the way it's going now, the way by arming the opposition, the militarization of the conflict, this will lead to a full-out civil war. And it will certainly lead out to a full-scale regional war also.
Doesn't this protect civilians, though, this definition? Because under international law, people on both sides will be able to be prosecuted if they kill people indiscriminately.
Yeah, of course it helps, but still, I don't think that this will stop anyone. At the time, we're having the Syrian regime who's using excessive force, and on the other side, we're also having groups, Islamist groups, Al-Qaeda and other extremist groups who are also using arms, and they are being funded by and armed by Qatar and Saudi Arabia, which is very unhelpful, and it's not going to lead to a peaceful transition that we are seeking for Syria.
There's certainly no peace process going on at the moment, is there? We've got the US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton visiting Russia this week ahead, and we've got Kofi Annan also visiting Russia, trying to forge some kind of diplomatic progress on this. What hopes have you got that they will manage that?
Honestly, I think it's very difficult, but the only hope that we have is the Kofi Annan plan, and all sides should abide by it. We should have again, a united opposition. The opposition should come on one platform. They should work together and enter into dialogue with the regime, of course, under the supervision of the United Nations and, following the Kofi Annan plan. That's the only way out.
Meanwhile, the UN's trying to form another resolution, but Russia have said they're not going to back it if it involves sanctions.
Yes, they have been talking about it, but again, as you know, there is a lot of interest from all sides. I mean, Russia and China will continue on vetoing that UN Security Resolution, and I don't think that honestly we're going to be seeing any way out. If the only way it's going to be through the Kofi Annan plan, and the Syrian opposition have to understand that. They have to be mature about it and know very well that Syria is not Libya. Syria has a lot of allies, from Iraq to Lebanon to Iran to Russia and China, and though it has to be dealt with differently.
A problem and an accusation that the opposition have faced in Syria is that they aren't united. Do you feel that that's changing at all?
No, not at all. In the last meeting, actually, in Egypt, as we have seen, there were fistfights. They are not really ready to come under, on one platform. They are still racing for power, and this is not what we're really seeking in Syria. We're seeking a united opposition. We're seeking an all-inclusive, peaceful transition to democracy. And if they continue on acting that way, we don't see a viable alternative to the dictatorship that we are seeing in Syria. Today we have, as you know, a lot of Islamist groups on the ground. We have, again, opposition, some of them who are part of Al-Qaeda and other groups who are being armed by Saudi and Qatar. This is going to lead to, if this regime is removed, it's going to lead to be, replaced by a theocracy instead of by a democracy. And this is really not what we want to see, a situation in Syria happening the same way as it happened in Iran over 30 years ago.
Ribal Al Assad, thanks very much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.